In this reptile room tour video, we've got a big Savannah monitor enclosure to go through, big boa constrictor enclosure to go through, big bioactive Mourning gecko communal enclosure to show you, big bearded. We've got so much to go through in this video right now. Let's start now. So the way we're going to film this is basically as if you were like the gas man and you were just coming around to do something like a gas thing. We all do it. When somebody comes around and we're super passionate about our animals, then we like to show them off. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I mean, you imagine this, the first time a gas man comes around here and he's scared, the first thing he sees is a load of snake sheds just there. It's a bit funny, but in the living room right now we've got Popcorn, my big Carl Sunglow boa constrictor there, Hugo, my big Savannah monitor there, and Millie, my leopard gecko just there. She's in obviously the full bioactive setup. We're going to start with this big enclosure just here. As you can tell, it's 6 foot wide, 6 foot tall, it's 3 foot deep. That's not the full enclosure, it's not their adult enclosure, it's just what they're in right now, because we have got some big upgrades coming later on in the year, probably closer to winter to be fair, because Hugo's not growing nowhere near as fast as we were expecting, and Popcorn, well, he's perfectly fine in it. He could live in that one all his life. But we like to go above and beyond on here on Northern Exotics, and we like to give them the biggest and best life possible. Let's start up here with Popcorn. There he is. Hello, mate. He's a Carl Sunglow boa constrictor. He's just absolutely amazing. He's only recently come out of his hide. Normally when we give him a big meal, he just sort of hides out in his hide for, oh God knows, a week or so until he's finished digesting. Because boa constrictors can take up to like a week to digest their meal. I need to get in there and clean the water bowl out, but that's basically his enclosure. Let's open it up. Oh. There we go. So as you can see, we've got leaf litter, cocoa core, orchid bark sort of substrate, and that's just to give him that little bit of added enrichment. Loads of climbing branches. He is always up and about in those branches. It's unreal. He's got this feeding ledge here. Again, normally he's in that hide. As soon as he comes out of that hide, he finishes digesting, curled up on top of that thing. It just gets him closer to the hot spot. He's heated up with the Mega Ray infrared heat projector. There's other companies that make that, but that's just the OG. That's the one that's been around for 20 years. Other companies say, we invented the technology of the deep heat projectors. They didn't. That's been around for God knows how long. Here's Popcorn coming over for a little look at us right now. See, this is how tame he is. He just wants to come over. He's not threatening her. He's not posing. He just wants to come out to play. But, sorry, mate. We're concentrating on filming right now. So we're going to shut you in for now. And then we can get you out a little bit later once we've finished filming. He's actually got a Buddha as well. He's a religious snake. Boof. Buddha face just there. He's always been there. Popcorn loves to stick his body down that little gap just there and force the branches open and just rest his head on top of Buddha face. But that's Popcorn. He's 6 years old. He's around 6 foot long, there or thereabouts. His last shed measured 7 foot 1 inches. But why do sheds always measure longer than the actual snake? Well, it's quite simple, because the skin goes in every single different scale on that animal's body. It goes in the nostrils, in the mouth, it goes everywhere. And if you straighten all that out, it's going to be longer than the actual snake. But that's why their snake sheds are always longer than they actually are. But he's around about 6 foot. When he stretches out, he's the full length of the actual enclosure, which is, it's amazing. And a lot of people don't provide their animals with an enclosure where they can stretch out fully. He absolutely loves it. Right, underneath him, Hugo. Boof. Hello, mate. You okay? Oh, see, he knows we're talking about him. He's no longer camera shy. Check him out. Check him out. But this is his enclosure. He's heated up with those two D3 basking bulbs. They're solar bulbs, basically. They've got UVI, UVB, UVA. They've got everything inside those bulbs. That's not the only UVB he does have. He does have a UVB strip light up there. It's 12% sort of thing. It's a zone 3. It's a bit high for him, but it does give him that little bit of extra that he does need. He absolutely loves to slob around on top of that big rock just over there. He just loves it. Look, hello, mate. Hello. He's 3-year-old Bosque monitor. We call it a Bosque monitor in the UK, and that's simply because the person that first described them was in France, and his name was Louis Bosque. They named it after him. But people all over the world, they tend to call it a Savannah monitor, a Bosque monitor. Either, take it as you please. I say Savannah monitor on this channel just to appeal to all the people that do call it a Savannah monitor. But he's a Bosque monitor in my care. and an amazing Boss monitor at that. I need to clear his water out as well. Everyone needs a water clean out today. That piece at the back there, that's his burrow. We did do a video not so long ago where we had to take off all this slab and all these slabs and everything just to dig out his burrow a little bit more, because dude's getting lazy and he didn't want to do it himself. So we did it, and he's loving it now. He's getting right in the hide. He's burrowed in nicely. He's also burrowed between the two rocks that we've got just there. You can see that little bit of a hole just there. We are thinking about getting him some more plants for inside this enclosure once I've zoomed out and shown you. There we go. Yeah, we are thinking about going down the line of more plants. That's just an arid species of grass. It's nothing special, but he loves it, and the live food loves to dig underneath it, and so does the cleanup crew. Everything just seems to be doing well in this enclosure. Now, they are a big-bodied, heavy-bodied, aggressive sort of animal. I mean, if he sees a locust on top of that, well, mate, you can't get on camera all the way up here. If he sees a locust on top of that grass, he has no trouble in just dive bombing the locust from that platform right to the top of that and just flattening the grass. Hence why this grass just laying around the substrate all the time. What's up, mate? Look at his belly. He's in shed. You're in shed, aren't you, mate? You're in shed. So that's Hugo. That one's Popcorn. That's their enclosure. Now, what's all that writing on the enclosure? If you join the channel membership, your name goes on top of there. That's quite simply. I might need to update that and add a few more names. Well, what do you get if you are a channel member? Just hit the join button and you'll join. You get early access to all the videos. They'll all go on the community tab at least a day before everybody else actually sees them. They get the chance to first comment on the videos. They get a chance to make the first polls. Just a few other bits like that. We do hope all the people that are channel members do actually like the benefits you do get through being a channel membership. I am tempted to do a bit more concentration on the membership and just add a few more little bits and bobs. But that's that big enclosure. Let's go over here and show you guys this way. Are you enjoying being the gas man yet? Let's go through it. And this is it. Now, it might be a bit flicky. That's just the UV lighting that's in here. If you watch my last video, you'll notice we did change that plant and it's doing absolutely amazing in here so far. Millie, she's tucked right underneath the bottom of the hot hide at the moment. But she did come out and she did have a mooch around it. She had a sniff around it. She climbed over the top of it. Through the night, she had a bit of a feed, and yeah, that was that. But let's have a look. Now, before anybody does start commenting and saying, they shouldn't be on sand. It's a solid substance. It's basically expanding foam covered in like tile grout, and then the sand was put on top of the tile grout and embedded into the actual tile grout, so it's just a sand texture. The reason we've done that, and along with all the naturalistic rock material and the slates and everything, is solely for the UV light. The UV wavelengths come down in such a wavelength pattern that it'll either get absorbed into the solid materials in different ways, and it'll also deflect off all these materials in different ways. So it just gives the leopard gecko a naturalistic wildlife style sort of UV lighting setup. It's got obviously all its live grass and stuff like that. You might be thinking, well, where's all of his hides? It's got a couple of hides all built in down there. It's got another hide all the way down there. It's got another hide underneath that log just there. It's got a couple of hides just there, and it's also got that there. What's that? Well, we've got out the enclosure and round the enclosure. First off, I'll close the door. But if we go round the enclosure to here, boom, there is a moist hide. Just a moist hide. There we go. Tucked in nicely and secured in perfectly. Now, if you want to see a video on how I made that and how much it cost and all that sort of stuff, I've done a full playlist, but the actual video for how it was built, every little detail, step by step, I'll leave it just up there. Just please note, no longer have we got a big succulent in the middle, but it's a grass instead. Now, when I was first planning this reptile room out, I sort of messed up a little bit. Because, I mean, if the gas man does come here and he is scared of reptiles, well, if we go into the reptile room, behind those doors is the actual boiler. So no matter what, the gas man is going to have to come into the reptile room. I mean, we've got this full rack here, which is going to get more on there to start with. I mean, you think the very first enclosure that he comes past is this one, which is a Asamani tarantula. He's got the Alpi tarantula. I mean, he's going to be a bit scared when he first walks past. So when they normally walk past, I just take him straight down to here. And this is Diego, our bearded dragon. Again, he's got a full naturalistic sort of setup, semi-arboreal. As you can tell, he loves to climb, so he's on that branch already. This background and the platform and all that sort of stuff is a good 4 years old now. I built that years ago. It's just polystyrene covered in tile grout that got painted. That's all it is, but we've got loads of built-in hygrometers and thermometers dotted all the way around, built into the background. It seems to be working perfectly fine for him. He's got loads of hiding places if he does want to get out of the UV rays. For UV lighting, we have got the Reptile Systems 25 luminaire. Why have we got that, and why do I think that is the best UV lighting that you can get for a bearded dragon? Quite simply, you can set that onto timers. It's got 2 UV lamps inside it, as you can tell, and you can set it so that it has a sunrise on a UV level, so it's always going to be light, but it's going to have a sunrise, a normal lighting that they'd naturally have, and a sunset. But also you can set it so it has the higher midday UVI output that they would naturally see in Australia. It's the Twin T5 luminaire by Reptile Systems. It will be linked in the description down below. I put the zone 2 lamp on for your sunrise in the morning and your sunset and that higher midday UV output. You set your zone 3 on just throughout the day, and it just works perfect for that. What do you think, Diego? Yeah, you're very active today, aren't you? He's got his hot spot just there and a basking spot just down there. That's an old snake hide, but I use it like that because it's a ceramic surface. It holds the heat in it and it deflects it off in such wavelength styles that they would naturally see in the wild. I do want to get him a bigger enclosure. It is only a 4-foot enclosure. The amount of Americans I see saying, can bearded dragons go in a 40-gallon breeder? No, because that's the equivalent to a 3-foot enclosure. Don't do that to them. That's just cruel. 4 foot is the minimum length for them, and he seems to love this enclosure, although I do need to clean the glass. Directly above him, we have got Rosi. She's our common boa constrictor. We rescued her a few years ago. She was a tiny little baby boa constrictor, and now she's about 4.5 foot long. We've done a fair few videos on her recently. Again, we don't like to open this glass because she's... Watch her. Look, watch her. She's going to come over and get us. She's very, very quick. But we've recently put that big log in there just to add a little bit more enrichment, and she seems to love it. She's always up and about and climbing over it and stuff. This is her hot side. It's heated up directly above in that dome just there. Again, ceramic heat emitter in there. I don't know why I've not gone for an infrared heat projector, but this, she seems to absolutely love this. So look, again, loads more climbing areas and stuff like that, and she just loves it. See what I mean? She's dead alert. You dick. Imagine if I'd shown that to the gas man. Right, next to it, you can see this is a mess. But this is a project that we started that we hoped to finish. I caught COVID-19, so I was isolating in this place for God knows how long. And this was the project I was going to do while I was actually isolating. I just sort of ran out of expanding foam, ran out of logs, and thought, do you know what? When I come out of isolation, I'll get the stuff. And I just haven't. I've just had other projects like that rack I needed to build and just loads of other projects and stuff. But we're getting back onto this. This is going to be advertised as a chameleon setup. However, I might just use it for Mushu, my Callets versicolor, which is just there. Now it's a flicking light just because it's not it's a magnetic ballast for the UV lighting. But there he is. Now again, he's got this full setup. Now his pothos plant that I just planted in there, I didn't think nothing of it, and it's growing absolutely wild. The past few months it's just took off massively. I don't know why that is, but there's Mushu anyway. He's a wild stowaway. Now, what is a wild stowaway? A wild stowaway means he came into the UK as a wild animal in a shipping container. He actually came from a wood company, so they got a shipment of wood from South Asia. The workers sat there, they opened up the container and out popped Mushu. We got the phone call, can you come and pick him up? Phoned all the authorities, they just basically said, he's not a threatened species. Either you take him or we'll destroy him. So I took him, and there he is. And he's been here now for over a year and he's happy as Larry. Massive thanks to TM Reptiles. Mike Webster and all of his kids, because they're the ones that actually rescued him and then gave me the call to go and pick him up. See this sign up here? Northern Exotics YouTube. That came from Instagram. The Sweet Bull Shop. I'll link him down in the description down below. He made them for me and it's wild chuff. Directly up here. Again, I don't think he's out. I don't think he's going to be out for a while. But this is a Talitalical albipolossum tarantula. A curly hair tarantula, basically. There's his hide. And as soon as I put him in there, he just sort of burrowed himself into the hide, and that's it. I've not seen him since. Which is normal behaviour for him. He's always doing it. But that's the sort of background that we've got, just like a tree stump. Normally in the wild, they do burrow down into those tree stump areas, which is why we've done that. Another grass species. That's the same grass species that we've just put in with Millie, our leopard gecko, which we've already been over. Yeah, that's a Tropical Factory UK enclosure. I love that enclosure. Directly on top, just over here. Let's see if we can actually see Wish now. Normally we don't see him until sort of night time. Oh, there we go. There's Wish. What is Wish? What do you think he is? Right, he is another wild stowaway thanks to Cheshire Reptile Rescue. Where did he come from? What's his story? He came into Stoke-on-Trent in a shipping container full of food, I think it was. The workers there said, can you come and get it? So Cheshire Reptile Rescue went down to Stoke-on-Trent, picked him up, brought him back up, and I went, mate, I've got experience with wild stowaways. I'll look after him for you. Boom, there he is. And he's putting weight on like the clappers. He is mad. He's a Chinese house gecko. And he's got some big plans for this enclosure. Wait there, let me just show it. Right, up there in that enclosure, we're planning an invertebrate sort of communal setup, and we're thinking of just adding him into it. Either that or maybe putting him in with the mourning geckos, but he's a wild animal, whereas they're captive bred. So he could have loads of pathogens. I mean, he's been in there now for a couple of months now, and nothing's happened with him yet. He's just being his normal self. So he might be safe to go up there. We don't know yet. Either way, at the minute, he's quarantining in there. And he's doing absolutely perfect. I'm going to turn him back around because he was actually basking on the heat cable that we've got just there. But right next to his enclosure, we've got another jar enclosure. Let's see if we can see any to start with. This is a bit of a dirty enclosure because there you go. There's one baby mourning gecko, two baby mourning gecko. There's three in there somewhere. But yeah, there's a couple of baby mourning geckos there. They're ones that actually hatched inside our adult mourning gecko enclosure, which we'll go through in a minute. Because what normally happens in these enclosures, especially one as big as this, the babies tend to get eaten. Or it's a possibility that they can get eaten. Now, in here, I was always planning for them to lay eggs in that little cup there. There's another cup there. There's another tube just down there. I was hoping they'd lay their eggs in there so that I could just remove them and let the eggs incubate outside this enclosure. But they don't seem to be doing that. The eggs seem to be getting laid and hatched somewhere that I don't know. I've not found them yet. So I think they might be right down that back corner or right under there. Yeah, there's loads of places in this enclosure they can actually lay eggs and incubate them perfectly fine. But hey, at least they're hatching. The eggs are, everything's working perfectly fine. They're breeding. Yeah, it's just my mourning gecko enclosure. If you want to see a full playlist on this, so how much it costs to build, all the little money saving tips we did into it, and how to actually build it step by step, every little detail, I'll leave a link just up there. But next to the mourning geckos is this one. Now again, there's nothing special about this one at all. You've got a royal python or a bull python. He's in his hide, a super passed out yellow belly royal python. Again, it's nothing elaborate. It's just an aspen bedding sort of enclosure. I'll tuck that in there. And then it's got a bit of plastic pipe there, which he absolutely loves. And it's nothing really special. Same again for that one down there. That is one of the projects in there that we're going to be working on, because when Mushu up there moves into this one just over here, then we can set that enclosure up a little bit more arboreal for the royal python. The amount of people that say royal pythons are not arboreal, they're just pet rocks. If you give them a fully naturalistic setup with UV lighting, places to climb, things to actually do in that enclosure, then they do it. They actually move. That was a quote from John Courtney Smith from Arcadia. But yeah, this one, it's just a male leopard gecko enclosure. It's a bare minimum enclosure. Again, we've not really done anything to that enclosure as of yet. I think Diego's hungry. Should we feed him? So we have got some calcium dusted leaves and one hungry bearded dragon. Let's see what he does to this. Oof. There we go. He just loves it. All the time he loves it. While we move over to the last few bits just over here. So this one, we got Tick and Tock. They are baby white tree frogs. Oh, when it focuses. There's one, that's Tick. They're called Tick-Tock because one of the viewers decided to call him Tick-Tock when I said, oh, there's the other one. There's Tock all the way down there. Woo, hello, mate. Yeah, my zooming in skills and my focus skills are just horrendous. That's their little setup anyway. They're in a little Exoterra Nano just while they're sort of growing up. Eventually, they're going to be going into that one just there. then eventually their adult enclosure is going to be the same as that one just there, parked up right next to it. Tick and tock, our baby white tree frogs. Again, they came from Cheshire Reptile Rescue. I'll leave them linked in the description down below. This one is something that you're not going to be able to see because he's hiding like a pansy. But check this out. I'll do a side-by-side comparison. This side, that's growing, but quite slowly. You can see just some new buds just showing up just there. That's under UV lighting. This plant is under the Reptile System's New Dawn LED light. We've got a pup shooting off there. We've got one up the top there. It's growing like an absolute weed. And that's just thanks to the New Dawn LED light by Reptile Systems. But that's an LP salmon pink bird-eating tarantula. That's just his enclosure. He's going to be moved over into this enclosure soon, just because that's a bit bigger, really. Gives him a bit more space to move around, or her a bit more. That actually came from Scott's Inverts. We're going to be doing a live stream on Scott's Inverts channel. Next week, actually, we're going to be doing a few of them. So check them out. It's going to be a drunken one, so it'll be fun. This one, again, naturalistic setup for a zebra tarantula, I think they call it. It's an A. Samani. Again, she's hiding away. But the joy with this one, we actually have a little peephole just at the back in the hide. There you go. You can just about see her legs. Yeah, we put a little peephole in the back of the hide, just so when we can't see her, we can still actually see her. That's all them enclosures just there. The last enclosure, this one just here. What's in here? We have got millipede, Millie McMillipede face. We've also got a superworm darkling beetle somewhere in there too. That darkling beetle actually came from a plant that we took out of Millie's enclosure. It was there and was like, oh, you go up there. We're going to turn that enclosure into a bioactive, naturalistic, full background build, all that sort of stuff, but for a few invertebrates. So we've got a millipede in there at the minute. We might put another millipede in there. We have got an absolute ton. Oh, sun beetles. We've got a sun beetle, baby. There we go. Check that out. We've got a sun beetle. How cool is that? So we're going to get that out now and put that up there. We've got a couple of pupa stuck in down there. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. Is there anything more happening? No. So we've got one sun beetle there. We're going to get that out now and put it up there. Got to be a little careful because these guys fly and they make a hell of a racket when they fly. He burrowed himself all the way down there. See? Let's get him out. Kill my mate. Kill my mate. Out you come. Out you come. There you go. Sun beetle. Drop you just down over. Where have you gone? It's playing dead. Oh look, he's going to hide underneath the actual leaf litter. Now you can see some of the springtails in the background as well. So we're going to actually need to sort this enclosure out rather quickly if those sun beetles are starting to come already. Let us know in the comment section if you'd like to see anything specific in this enclosure. I mean, we've got Millie McMillipede face, we've got a sun beetle, and we've got a darkling beetle at the moment. There is going to be more sun beetles in here and more sun beetle larvae, just because I put them over there just so that the millipede wouldn't bother them too much. Yeah, but there's a few more in there ready to sort of hatch out. As soon as they hatch out, I'll put them in there. But I am going to need to build the background up and do all that. Maybe that should be the next project. What do you think? But that is the reptile room tour. Apart from the plant grow rack over there, the moss that's growing over there, the more plants that are growing over there, some more house plants and cheese plants and everything growing out everywhere else. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you all. Peace out.